everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LilyGrace York and I am talking today about my rebrand of my podcast. As you know, I switched LilyGrace Lifestyle, my old business, to Rapport agency, so now my podcast is reflecting that. So now my podcast is called Rapport by LilyGrace, and I am so excited to share the meaning behind this podcast, the cover, and what is to come. Thank you so much for following along the journey thus far, and I cannot wait to move forward into this new era with you. This is Rapport by LilyGrace, formerly LilyGrace Lifestyle. After 6 seasons, I decided to do a rebrand because we all grow and learn and change, and big things have been happening this year. Starting with a new job, shifting to Miller Knoll, my whole life flipped upside down when I decided to start saying no to old energy, and I went through a long and arduous healing journey by facing my truths, understanding different mediums and modalities of healing, and then going forward from there. Thank you for listening into this podcast. If you're new here, my name's LilyGrace York, and if you're listening from a few episodes back or you've been with me since episode 1, thank you for listening in. It's been a long journey, and I've come a long way since the beginning of the show. I wouldn't be where I am today without you, so if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and follow the podcast, and make sure you comment below. Your words mean the world to me, and I feel like without you, this community wouldn't have been built into what it's become. First of all, I want to say thank you to Hannah Mac Studios for taking my new podcast cover. It's very timely because I've come a very long way since even 2 years ago, since my last photo shoot with her. And my goal of the shoot was to retake a new podcast cover to really exemplify who I am today as a person. And of course, the Knoll Bertoya chair, diamond gold chair being a focus in there was a big point of that podcast cover, but showing the grace, the gratitude, and the statement that I really wanted to create with this podcast shift. A few months ago, back in January, I rebranded my business to be Rapport Agency by LilyGrace, and I really want to focus on marketing because for a long time I was everything to everyone. I was a graphic designer, an interior designer, website designer, and I think design is the invisible string that ties my story together and the different work and portfolios projects that I've done in the past. But what I really realized was that Rapport was who I am. Rapport is what I have been building. LilyGrace Lifestyle was the little sister of Rapport Agency, but needed to happen. It wasn't necessarily about me and creating my personal presence anymore because LilyGrace Lifestyle had done the work. The podcast has carried its name throughout the 6 years of my past life and the career that I've built. But what I realized is now it's time to serve others. It is time to bring value to the world because I've created so many amazing experiences and have collected so many pieces of expertise over my different journeys. So I'm really proud to stand here today and be grateful in order to bring new life to this podcast. I'm really going to shift and focus on how personal branding can bring you to the next level and give you tips and strategies in order to do so. I am still going to be interviewing other entrepreneurs, creatives, and lifestyle enthusiasts because that is who I connect with and who I am really excited to share with you. It might be a little more pointed in the interior design space as I am an A&D rep now at Miller Knoll. I have been for the past few months, and I really want to use this platform as a way to spread the word about good design, good energy, and insights and thought leadership when it comes to design, the industry, and knowledge. So I'm really excited about that. I think some other things that I really wanted to share on this show was the pivot and the focus that I will be moving forward with. I changed the name to Rapport because it's really who I wanted to be, who I wanted to be known for. It's about creating beautiful connections and relationships in the world so that you can be remembered, so that you can share your story with authentic and genuine people. I went through a very long journey of people pleasing, being an empath, a type A person, and someone who just wanted to connect with everyone in every single room. But realizing that I only have so much capacity in my life was a really important lesson that I learned, because from there I was able to really hone in on who I wanted to become and then attract people into my life that fit that vision and those values. So I rebranded the podcast to be Rapport by LilyGrace to follow Rapport Agency, so that it is a cohesive brand story, and that so I am helping other people create rapport. It's not only about standing out in design and standing out in your industry and standing out in general, because there's so much noise out there when it comes to social media and so many other aspects of this crazy world. But it's about creating genuine and meaningful, trustworthy relationships and connections so that people can feel like they trust you and like you are someone that they can lean on. And whether your value in their life is your humor, your beauty, and the empathy that you bring to the world, your friendship, or maybe more a transactional business relationship, whatever it is, I want people to remember you for you. So I'm going to be bringing that value here today and on the episodes to come, because I'm really focusing on bringing some more solo episodes. I think for a long time I lost my voice, and this podcast became a beautiful place for other people to tell their stories, but I needed some time to heal and reflect on my own, so showcasing other people's stories was what I needed to do. But I'm ready to start sharing my own again. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on here, and why I created this Rapport by LilyGrace podcast. And I'm also going to be focusing on the difference between branding versus marketing yourself. I realized through the journey of brand education, which I created with my co-founder Samantha Newman, the ideology and the psychology behind personal branding and that importance. It is not just about marketing yourself and showing the world how fabulous you were, and honestly, I was probably guilty of that, because I love social media, I love visual art, I love creating things that are beautiful and eye-catching, but I was missing the point. I was missing the point of why I was doing it, my why, and the reason behind it was to bring value to you and the world so that you are able to create the life of your dreams, and so that I can help you bring your visions to life with my marketing firm. Building genuine rapport in my industry and in my life has brought me so many beautiful things, including a network, including clients, and beautiful friendships that I've built through my personal journey. I have to say, a lot of times people think about friends, and maybe you've had amazing friends and clients for the past 30, 40, 50 years, and I think that is beautiful, but what I've learned in my life is that it's also okay to break up with friends. It's okay to break up with clients and people that haven't necessarily been able to follow you throughout your whole journey of your life. Of course, there's beauty in something that lasts forever, but I think that creating space to really focus and reflect on who you are, and seeing if the people in your life and the things in your life and your goals in your life are still aligning with what you want to be. And after doing a lot of that work myself, I was able to figure out who I wanted in my life, and started to really just sit in solitude and reflect on who I was as a person, so that the people in my life that I'm surrounded with reflected those visions and goals. A lot of my marketing clients are people who are in the trades, and they create beautiful things, beautiful landscapes, or maybe they're moving beautiful homes or selling beautiful homes in the residential space, but maybe they don't know how to market to those types of people. So creating that type of content, storytelling, and branding is something that I've been helping to have my clients focus on, so that they can do what they do best in their service-based industries, so that I can tell their stories for them. So when it comes to figuring out what I wanted this podcast to be moving forward, it wasn't too hard, because me as a person, I've grown so much. And I have to say, the biggest takeaways from this podcast that I want you to learn from is the fact that you can't be a teacher without going through the actual lesson yourself. I think, especially on social media nowadays, people think that they can start telling people what they should be, telling people what their problems are or what they should become, and telling people what's best for them. But I myself was maybe projecting a lot on social media and beyond because I thought I knew what was best for me. I thought I knew what was best for other people, but until I went through the lesson of failing a few times, learning that it's okay to change your mind, and allowing my ego to be let go, I was still a student. I was still absorbing. And I still am, in a lot of ways, a student, and I'm still absorbing. But I feel like I've come to a place of maturity, and through time and through tragedy and letting go and grief, that I was able to then realize that I am able to teach this moving forward. I'm able to say that I've had many different experiences that have led me to this point today, which I am so grateful for at the end of the day. I think when it came to letting go of my old self, it was a series of ripple effect moments that really brought me to this point right here, which I'm really proud of. But some of that I didn't necessarily want to share, and I think parts and pieces will come out as I move forward in my life. But I think other parts were meant to be kept to myself, and other parts were meant to be shared. And the past few episodes of podcasts and few videos, vlogs that you have seen on YouTube have really focused on some of the things that I have created in my life, and that has come through manifestation. And something that I'm working on is saying no and realizing that you can't do everything at once. And for me, I have realized that beautiful things have come into my life. For instance, the Network Next Gen moment of the keynote speaker was so amazing, and that came from recording a podcast back a few years ago with Kelsey Paul, who is one of my really amazing role models and girlfriends who I lean on when it comes to brainstorming. And then she thought of me for this summit, and I'm forever grateful for that. And also Rebranded, that was launched a couple months ago with Samantha Newman and I. That's another example of something that I've done to really help others and show light on the power of personal branding. I think a lot of times people get confused too what a personal brand even is, and it's not necessarily a logo or a YouTube or a website. It's really figuring out who you are as a person and also how you make people feel when you are not in the room. We can all think of a person that comes to mind that we absolutely love, and when they're not with us, they just warm our heart, or you just want to laugh full of joy. But then there are other people in our life that maybe bring us down. Maybe you are someone who is really interested in diving into a side hustle or showing up authentically, but you're not quite sure how. That is why Samantha Newman and I created Rebranded, The Road to Influence, which is a multimedia course for you to dive in deep to understand what your personal brand is from a psychology-backed approach. We want to help you create the life of your dreams and create connections and strong associations so that you can step into rooms that you never thought you could. We are creating a workbook and are really excited to share this course with you. And if it's something that you're interested in, go to my website, www.lilygraceyork.com/branded, and use code BRANDED15 to get 15% off on the $30 digital course. Once you log in and create an account and purchase the course, you will have access to this course for the rest of your life. It is meant to not only dissect in different instances in different sessions, but for you to go back to and work through the workbook so that you're able to understand authentically what your brand is, how to show up in the real world, and follow up from a really psychology-based perspective. So if you're interested, go check out Rebranded, The Road to Influence. If you are interested, please go visit my website, www.lilygraceyork.com, in order to see the course called Branded, and use code BRANDED15 to get 15% off on this $30 course. Please like and comment below in order to learn more, and thank you so much. And let's get back into this amazing show. So really focusing on who that person is and what that profile is that you really maybe don't resonate with is just as important as figuring out who you do resonate with. And that is the power of your personal brand as well. What are people thinking of when you're not inside the room? And a lot of times we think of the word networking. There's so many people, places to be, events to go to, and so many more to count. And learning the fact that you don't have to go to every single event, every single dinner to network is so important. There are so many different mediums nowadays to connect with people, whether it be online or in person, that you don't have to be at every single event to say that you are networking. When it comes to networking, it's really about creating those strong ties and those weak ties, because there's power in creating those genuine relationships that are really close to you, but sometimes even more power in creating those weak ties. There is a theory called Dunbar's number, and it's about the 150th person in your life. The 150th person is not the person who's your best friend, who's in your close family. It's not the friends of friends. It's not even maybe the social media following. It's that person you follow on LinkedIn who sees your stuff every once in a while, and you barely remember that they exist in your circle. But it's that person who might bring you the biggest opportunity, your next relationship that you are wishing for, your next big promotion, or your next big break, or the next big idea. It is that 150th person in your network who is going to be able to see outside your circle and have not necessarily a bias on your life, so they might bring you something beautiful. So stay open and stay generous when it comes to people in your life, because you never know who is going to bring you your next big opportunity. And a lot of times too, people get overwhelmed because they're like, well, I met this person, but I got nothing from them. And personal brand is not about getting things from people. Networking is not about getting things from people, but bringing people opportunities, because it is a two-way street. What are you bringing to the table? What is your unique value? And who are you known for? What is that strong association that people are creating with you when they think of your name? For me, it's my podcast, it's being in sales, it's selling furniture, it's design. Maybe those are the 3 to 5 strong associations that I want people to think of when they think of me. For someone else, like one of my good friends, he's a landscaper, he's an entrepreneur, he's such a good friend, he's so funny, and those are the strong associations that I think of when I think of my friend Lucas. Maybe it is not the first or second time that you are meeting someone that you are pitching yourself or that you are asking for an ask. Maybe it is the 5th to 7th time that you are asking someone for something and bringing them value along the way so that they start to build the trust. It takes between 5 and 7 times of meeting someone for them to actually remember you and stay top of mind. So don't get discouraged when it comes to figuring out how to create a strong relationship. It takes time, and especially with our busy lives and constantly commuting everywhere and traveling. I know for me, a lot of my friends are always in different countries at once, so it's hard to even get together. But when we do, it's amazing. And it probably was the 5th to 7th time of meeting those people that I felt really strongly connected with them, and that I fully understood them and knew their story as a person. And of course, there are so many nuances and things that you want to focus on when it comes to creating these meaningful connections and relationships. But building rapport is not just about checking off a box. It's really about the psychology behind how you make people feel when you're with them and when you're not with them. And following through is a huge thing. The fortune is in the follow-up, is what I always say in sales. And especially in this crazy world when you will forget about someone in 2 seconds or something someone said in about 2 seconds, you want to create that follow-up no matter what. If you say you're going to follow up with the Greek itinerary that you were going to share with someone because someone's going to Mykonos, you need to do that. And if you don't, they're going to either forget about it, forget about you, or they're not going to trust you because you said you were going to do something and you didn't. For me, when it comes to business interactions especially, I recognize 2 things in people: how they respect their own time and my time, and how they actually follow through what they say they're going to do. That to me is integrity. Integrity and time, I feel like, have this strong tie between each other, and if people don't respect those two things in their life and in mine, that is not necessarily someone I want to be around. And it took me a while actually to realize that. Maybe that's something I realized that I felt was important, but I didn't act upon it, or I didn't know how to communicate boundaries beyond that. So really understanding how to communicate and what you're going to allow into your life and what you're not going to allow into your life is so important to realize and recognize. And a lot of times too, when it comes to rapport and building that strong connection and that strong personal brand, it's really showing up authentically. I think a lot of people say that, but what does that even mean? And for me, I think I went in the dark for a little bit when it came to my podcast and solo episodes because I needed time to reflect. I needed time to go to therapy and do yoga and pray and all the things so that I could really show up authentically again. And that's where Rapport was born, and that's where Rebranded was born. Earlier this year, I said no to a lot of old things that I thought I wanted in my life to allow the new to come in. I always think of this reel that I saw one time, and basically it was this preacher holding so many different balls in his hand, a basketball, a soccer ball. He couldn't hold on to all of them at once. And he was saying, if you are holding on to your past, if you are holding on to too many different pieces of things, baggage in your life, you have no capacity to catch anything new, to allow anything else new into your life. And for me, I had to let go of so many different, I had to drop a lot of those balls because I'm always someone who can juggle so many in the air, but until I let go of a number of different those balls, I had to realize that, to come to that point in my life that I was able to let go. And the second I did, actually, is when good things came into my life. A new job, a new relationship, a new course, a new talk, all the things I started to manifest finally came so easily to me. Monetarily, client-wise, relationship-wise, love life-wise, every single part of my life started to open up in new ways. Whereas before I was trying so hard, or I was latching on to things that actually weren't going to work for me. Until I let go, nothing new came into my life. And it was really hard to get the number that I wanted in my bank account. It was really hard to get the relationship that I thought I deserved. Until I let go of those old things very thoughtfully, I wasn't able to get what I wanted in my life. So many doors opened. And for a long time too, if you're like me and multifaceted and you feel like there are just so many opportunities out there, I have a big abundance mindset. I'm a glass half full kind of girl. And I think that's a good thing. But the struggle with that is that there's sometimes too many opportunities. I chase too many things. All at once, I got a new job. I was in a new relationship. I got my real estate license. And probably 2 other big things happened at that time, which were all really positive. But I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to manage all this? And how do I know which direction to go? Do I take the new job? Do I go into real estate? I also started a Rapport agency all at once. This all happened within a week. But until I realized that I didn't necessarily have to decide, I just had to decide one thing at a time and then allow things to come to me and allow myself to just feel what felt right, is when it really worked. I took the new job. The relationship I started, it went really well. It's going really well. And also the different other parts and pieces that were in my life, I'm like, okay, some things can go on the back burner. I really am focusing on Rapport agency, but only to a certain number of clients that I can manage until I can hire someone. And also then from there, I was like, okay, I really want to rebrand my podcast, but I can't rebrand my whole business and then do my podcast at once. So I was letting myself put certain things on the back burner until the time was right. And now the time's right, and that's okay. And I feel like building this brand, this podcast, there's been so many different iterations. I feel like the whole essence of who I am as a person is creating beautiful things and beautiful connections. And for a long time, it was through interior design. It was through social media, and it still is. It was through creating Forte Journal back during COVID with my friend Allie. and then it was through brand ed. It's through keynote speaking. Whatever medium it is sharing ideas and thoughts with people in order to create strong and meaningful connections. And that is what I want to do with this show and continue to do so, just in a 2.0 version, because I'm really focusing on quality over quantity this year. And instead of just focusing on other entrepreneurs, I'm bringing it back and I'm starting to share some of my expertise from my journey as well, so that you can learn a little bit more and the new upgraded LG 2.0. So moving forward, what's coming next? I'm having some really exciting podcast guests on from the industry of interior design that you might recognize. I'm also really starting to focus on people who I genuinely connect with and genuinely have been wanting to have on this show for so long. So some long-time guests that I've been really excited about are going to be coming on. And also I'm going to be focusing on topics, questions, answering questions that you need and want when it comes to marketing, building a brand, and building a life of your dreams. None of the essence of who I was from LilyGrace Lifestyle is going away the past 6 years. We are just shifting to Rapport by LilyGrace because it's really about creating that connection with other people. It's outward focus. After doing the inwards work, now I'm focusing on you. So if you liked this podcast and this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. And I want to hear from you. What are some episodes, topics, or people that you really want to hear from moving forward that you would really find valuable so that you can take your life and your business to the next level? It's really about creating those genuine, authentic connections so that you can level up in your career, in your love life, and beyond. So stay tuned. I cannot wait, and thank you so much for listening in. Talk to you soon. Bye.